Hey y'all, it's Taryn. It is Saturday, November 9th. Welcome. It has been a hot minute. I missed October completely. It's just been crazy. Even today, we are in between having to go help Wyatt with the project that he had for class. He's currently going to school to get his master's degree. And in a little bit, we'll have to leave again and go babysit Ryan. It's a hard life, I'm telling you. Anyway, we've just been busy, busy, busy. And as is so often the case in the life of Verly, there's been just ridiculous things. Also, I have so much to show that I don't even have room to take everything out of their project bags. I usually take everything out before I start to record and then stack it and put it all back in after. I don't have the room for that because I've had to pull out so many. We've got over a month. I think it's like 6 weeks now since the last time I recorded. So there's going to be bag noise. There's going to be lots of bag noise because if I didn't get it done in this little period of time, I don't know when I would have gotten it done at all. Tomorrow morning, we've got to get up and head over to Houston. They're having a surprise party for Dax's mom because on Monday is her 75th birthday. So tomorrow we're going to be gone all day too. And next weekend, there's something going on. The weekend after that, we're celebrating Thanksgiving in Houston. And then after that, on Thanksgiving Day, usually Dax and I, fly out to Vegas. We usually go the Friday after Thanksgiving and stay for 10 or 12 days. This year we've decided to drive. We've decided to just take our time and meander out there. We're probably only going to stay in Vegas for 2 or 3 days and just meander our way back. Rented a car. We did the rental stuff yesterday, reserved the car, and we reserved it for 3 weeks. So we'll see how long we're gone. We haven't actually put a definite timeline on anything. So we're just kind of going to try to chill and just go with the flow. We'll see how that goes. Neither one of us are very good at that. So anyway, we'll get started. And as usual, we will just talk as we go. First, for the bee giveaway, I didn't grab the pattern. I didn't forget about it. There were only a few entries. I have them here. And the winning entry is Sandy Bartholomew 3603. I hope you can read my handwriting. I will try to remember to put my email in the description box. Set that up there so I don't lose it in the description box, so that you can contact me and either through email or you can always contact me through Instagram. I don't get on Instagram a lot, but I will get the notification if you contact me there. I'll leave that information in the description box also, we hope. Okay. I have stitched. I have a huge mess here because I've stitched a lot of different things because it's been so long. I cannot let this happen again. Also, last weekend, Kirsten and I went to the November Blooms retreat in, well, I was going to say New Braunfels, but it wasn't. It was really in Green. If you are not from around here, Green is spelled Gruene. Groon, but it's pronounced green because, you know, every place has their things they do that with. So we got lots of stitching done last weekend, so that was nice. And we'll talk about that too. Anyway, stitching. I worked on this. This is one of the kids' ornaments for this year. I've only finished one, so I need to get these done. I've been working on this one in the morning, and here's where I am. I think originally I only had like the green in the hat and the scarf and his little gloves. So there are some white stitches in there. I don't know if you can see very much, but that's where we are on it. It's one that I'm working on every morning. I have worked also on, okay, I've worked on all of these. So Solitude by Mystic Stitch. I don't know where it is. Here is where we are at this point. Sorry, I've got things rolled up. But this is, you can see right here where the other page was. So I'm doing a page right here. And then I'll come down, once I get that page done, I'll come down and do another page that's thin right there. This is a piece that is on my calendar to work on every Sunday, Solitude Sundays. And I'm not very good about getting that done. Because like tomorrow, we're going to be in the car for most of the day. That's too much confetti to try to work on in the car. I mean, I could, but it'll just frustrate me. So, from Heaven and Earth Designs, Cool Cool Water. And I had a viewer, comment that she just finished this one. I would love to see it all finished because I'm not going to get to see this one finished for a very long time. I'm just up here in a little piece of sky right here. That's all I've got going on in over a year. It's been over a year since I started that. But it's okay. We do it for the joy of the stitching too. I like the finished projects, but I also like the stitching. One of the things while I was away that is part of this crazy life we live, Dax was out cutting the grass in the front. Anyone who's new or doesn't remember, I wouldn't expect anybody to remember. We live on acreage. We're surrounded by other people who live on acreage. We're out of town, so we are on a well and septic system. And the law is that it has to be an aerobic septic system, which just means it filters, chlorinates, and the water gets run through a sprinkler system out front. There are 2 sprinkler heads, and one of them is broken and it won't go back down. And so Dax was trying to make sure, he was looking for it on the lawnmower and was looking over to make sure he didn't run over it and trying to find it because the grass was tall. And it came on and sprayed him right in the face. When he was telling me about it, I was at the store after I got home. He's like, I don't know why I needed my mouth open to look, but it is what it is. It sprayed him in the face. And even though he spit and spit and spit, I suspect that he swallowed some of it because starting about a day and a half later, he had a gastrointestinal infection that lasted for more than a week. He ran a fever. I finally took him to the emergency room because he was, well, For one thing, he passed out, but he was getting dehydrated. I mean, he couldn't eat anything. He could barely drink anything. It was terrible for him. I felt so bad. And then when he finally could eat something, we had to keep it really bland in the beginning, and he's still tired, but I was really afraid. I didn't want him having hepatitis or something like that. So he was mad that I made him go to the doctor, but oh well, I won. He went. But yeah, that was, I mean, I know for at least 3 days he could barely even just get out of bed. I mean, he mostly slept or went to the bathroom. It was terrible, terrible. Okay, Paula Vaughn's Quilts for All Seasons. These are the ones that I'm starting a new one each month. I showed you September's already. I'm trying to think. It's been so long. Okay, October's quilt. God, I just love all these. That's just so pretty. And to see if I can find it quickly. Okay, October. Yes. I have written in pencil way up here at the top. And I also know that's the top. But here we are. October's. You can tell different things by how much I get done. October's is at the beginning of October. I'm doing these like the first Sunday of the month, I think. And so that was before our October deadline when we were working 7 days a week. If Dax was going to get sick, fortunately he got sick after October 15th. That wasn't really the way he wanted to end busy season, but here we are. So October, very busy. Didn't have the time to get much done on it. But this one is November's. Again, it's beautiful, beautiful. And you will see that I had more time in November. I got a little bit more done. And to tell you the truth, all of these, I don't want to put them down. I work on them, I start going, and it's stupid adult responsibilities. Okay. I think that's everything that I had sitting on the floor. We'll grab another stack. Oh. That's just some of it. Whoo, doggies. This is what I made for table gifts for the people at my table. They weren't all the same. I used different fabric and stuff. It ties here at the bottom, and then when you open it up, it's got quilt batting to use as a thread bed. This is a little pocket, and it has a clip for either a floss ring or scissors or whatever. Kirsten, because I was doing out, she gave out these scissors, like little angel's wings. So, in case people wanted to clip scissors on there, all that together. We got lots of neat stuff at the retreat, as usually happens. I've gotten into some kick about dehydrating stuff. I have a dehydrator. I've had one for years, and I go on kicks, but I've decided that I'm tired of throwing away food that sat in the refrigerator, vegetables and stuff. And so I had a thing of mushrooms that I was afraid I'd use some of them, but I was afraid that they were going to go bad. It was probably when Dax was sick. And so I dehydrated those, and I bought a vacuum sealer for my mason jars, and I put the mushrooms in there, and I vacuum sealed the mason jars, and it all worked out beautifully. So proud of myself. And so I was like, ooh, we have this broccoli, and it's on the verge. Let's dehydrate it, because it'll still work great, like in broccoli cheddar soup or whatever. I just take my word for it. Don't try this yourself. If you want to dehydrate broccoli, put it outside. Do not put that in a dehydrator and leave it in your house. Put it outside. It took, it wasn't quite done the first day. So, which wasn't like 24 hours. It was like 6 or 7 hours, but it needed some more time. I just put too much in there. But anyway, I moved the dehydrator into the garage because, oh my gosh, does that smell? Oh, it was awful. It was awful. Trust me on this. Okay, from Priscilla and Hands-On Designs. Is that the other? Yes. Okay. Summer and Chalk. This is on my list of 20, which, you know, I mean, if we're being honest, means it's one of my 20 oldest projects. That's really what the list is. So here we are now. I am getting so close. So very close. I think these 2 flowers. I think that's all I have left to do. Is that right? Yes. Oh, I do need to finish. No, that's part of the flower, isn't it? Yes, this comes down into the flower. I was looking to see if those were leaves or not, but no, it's part of the flower. It's been so long, it's like I've never done this before. Anyway, I'm so close. So very close. I'm going to finish it, Shelley. I'm going to finish it. I know you're watching closely. Okay. Spooky Welcome. That's one that Sherry sent me when she got done. Oh, I'm like, why is this stuff in here? It's other things that we got at the retreat. A little cute because it's November blooms. There were a lot of sunflower things. So a thread sorter, and then here's a Valley Mist Dinky Dye Silk. It's got like a little bit of just off-white and gray and blue kind of, which I'm sure is not really showing up. It's much lighter than it looks on there, but Valley Mist is a good name for it. I had this at this project bag at the retreat, so that's why it's in there. Because I was like, this is all in black. Why would I have a thread organizer? Anyway, here we are. The last time I worked on it, again, was one of those, didn't have much time in the morning, so I only got a tiny bit here done on the roof. So I tell my mother all the time, I should have been born rich instead of beautiful, and then I could just sit around and stitch all day. dimensions. I worked on this one. I took this one to the retreat, and I worked on it. And it is on my list of 20. It's, you know, not going to get done this year. But I did make significant progress. Oh, it's upside down. I've got the ear of corn finished, and I have started on that vase next to it. Isn't that awesome? So I have got all of this finished and started on this part here. That just, considering that at the beginning of the year, I only had part of this done, and right here, I had the spout and only part of that. The handle, the lid, the spoons, none of that was there. I think I had to about right here, and the black wasn't even filled in on all of that. So it won't be done this year, but I'm quite happy with the progress that's been made. So I worked on that. Like I said, I was able to get a lot of work done on that one at the retreat. I liked it because it was big blocks of color and was really easy to work on. I'm sorry, y'all have to forgive my hair. I can see it just like it's frizzing as the day goes. I had a front come through last night. It's cooler, which is so nice, but a little bit humid. So as the day goes on, my hair will continue to just, it'll get bigger and bigger. Maybe I could time lapse it or something. I worked on Christmas patches, the Patchwork Santa Claus, this one. And here's where we are. This time I was working on this teddy bear, and I hadn't actually paid much attention to the teddy bear before, but oh my confetti. Do you see all of that? Whew. Now I know why I hadn't worked on it. I'm pretty sure I was like putting it off. That I had looked at all the different symbols in there and kept trying to pretend like that wasn't happening. But it did. It did. Out of a box of the, it's a cross stitch a day calendar. Janet sent me 5 years worth. It's a bunch, and I've only been and pulled, actually I wrote down, I didn't pull all of them, wrote down projects for some of the years. It might even be 6 years worth, but this is one of them I'm working on. I don't have a ton of stuff for Easter or spring, so I thought, you know what, he's pretty cute. I can do that. So here is where I'm at. I kind of worked all over the place with this one. I worked some on the little border and on the grass, and then there's a little flower that's coming in down here. But as you could see, this is full coverage. So we're not getting anywhere fast. Certainly. This one, Beads and Buttons by Mill Hill, Believe. I'm doing it on fabric. I was so defeated. I was so defeated. For one, I have concerns about the width of my fabric. I apparently went through a thing, because I have several projects that this is an issue with, where I decided that measuring was overrated or something. I don't know. I'm going to have enough room, but barely. Anyway, I worked on all of this over here, put in this kind of a beige color here, and then all this, it's a navy blue. Only to realize when I was rethreading my needle that all of this has to come back out. I just should have left a space right in here. All of that has to come back out. I am going to put it away, but I did put a note in there that says all of the blue has to come back out. Uh-oh. I don't know where these are. Hold, let me see. Okay. It's the November and December Joyful World Sal. I finished them both. I remembered where they are when I started looking for them. I washed them. They're hanging to dry. So, you don't get to see those yet. But I did have 2 finishes in October. No, one in September and one in October. Maybe that's how it went. Friendship Quilts by Paula Vaughn. Here we are. For the most part, I've worked down on the porch, getting the steps in. I'm afraid that I'm off somewhere in here, so I've come and started putting the post on the porch that's right there, this one, because it's all got to meet up right in here. So I started putting that in to see how I'm going to come into. This is what's on there, the what I've stitched right here that I'm afraid isn't going to line up right. So anyway, so I came up here and started on that post to give me a good anchor point. So I don't know, I guess that means partially I'm on to the next side of the pattern, right? That works. Apparently, I'm sorry, apparently, I think it was sometime in October, a friend of ours who used to live here in Wimberley, and they live out in Nevada now, messaged me. She texted me and she's like, hey, did y'all feel the earthquake? And I'm like, earthquake? Apparently there was one somewhere in West Texas that could be felt all the way over to Austin. Not here. I have no notion of it. But that shouldn't surprise anyone who knows me. This is Days of Gold. It's out of a Cross Stitcher September 2016 magazine. It is on my list of 20. So is the porch thing that I just showed, the Paul Vaughn Friendship Quilts. Here is where I am on this one. I got the little cabin finished up and the porch around. This is going to be a tree. So I've made progress. This is, I'm doing 1/1 on a 28 count, and that's a little bit difficult for me. So I have to have magnification. I have, lighted magnifier thing. But even with that, it just feels like I stitch so much more slowly on it. This one I've worked on a lot. I'd only worked on it the one time when I started it, so everything else is new. When I had worked on it before, I think I had in the star and part of this little border here. I took this to the retreat, but I had already been working on it a lot in the mornings, because this is Ryan's stocking and it's going to be his first Christmas. I can't believe he's already 9 months old, but I am not quite finished, but I am very close. I need to chart out his name here Santa needs eyes. The bird needs an eye. That might be all. Oh, this little bell needs the, like this down in it. So, anyway, this is a really good sign that Ryan will actually get his stocking this year. So, for all of y'all who were very concerned, I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to make it. And trust me, you have every right to be concerned. I know how I am. I'm getting the other bag of stuff. I told y'all this was a lot. It was a lot. We cannot go this long. I did get stung by another scorpion too since the last time I saw you. This time I was washing dishes and I grabbed I had the dish rag draped over the faucet, you know, and I grabbed that to wash the silverware with, and there was a scorpion in the rag, and it stung me like right here below my fingernail. My finger stayed swollen, and it was before the October 15th deadline. I took Benadryl right away when it happened. It was early in the morning when it happened, before we went to the office. It was on a weekend, but it was early before we went into the office. And I took a Benadryl right away. But then it's kind of like I can't keep taking it because I need to be functional. And if I take Benadryl, I'm only very marginally functional. I took it again that night, but anytime I quit that I didn't take the Benadryl, once it wore off, my finger stayed for 3 or 4 days. It stayed red and swollen, the whole thing. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They should stay away from me. Dimensions, mason jar lineup. Also on my list of 20, I have made so very little progress on this one this year. I don't know why it never comes up on my little calendar when I spin the wheels and stuff. But here we are. Most of what I did on it this time, you can't tell because it's in white here and the daisies at the end. And that's all. I just put in more white stitches. I did a teeny tiny bit of backstitch on that one and managed to, even though you're only using one strand of floss, I managed to poke through it and shred it. And I decided, okay, that is God telling me to put this away and do something else. So I put it away, and then we went to help Wyatt with his thing. Out of, it's cross stitch gold. I was looking to see if I have what issue it is, but I don't think so. I just know it's cross stitch gold magazine, and this one's called the Birdhouse Cushion. It covers a little over a page. So close enough, close enough. It's a bunch of birdhouses. I'm not doing them all on one cushion. So far, I have started this one 3 times and this one. Those are the only 2 I've started yet. I want to do them all because I think they're all adorable, but I'm doing them individually. This time, I worked on this one. This is the, out of the others, this one I started the second time, and it has far more done. I started this one second. The other one was the first one I started. This one has far more done than the other one. I filled in a few more lines of pink up here and then came down here to get this in. just because I find it easier, like doing this pattern, if I fill in all of this other stuff that's going to get in the way of the rhythm, I guess. So that's what I did this time. Also worked on Be Mine. I saw one that's, it's a Christmas kind of one in the same, kind of that same period of art, because you know I love this. These old Valentines. Anyway, I worked, finishing up the girl's bow and filling in her hair right up here and getting his, basically picking a color and working it through their hair. I really need to get down to his eyes here because they're just like floating out there. Nothing creepy about that. I don't have stats because I haven't gone back and looked, and I've done some shopping, but I think it's all out in the car. I don't have it. So it'll be okay to save some stuff for the next time. Those are all falling, but they're tilting, so they're going to dump out. Don't want that to happen. Out of the May, June Cross Stitch and Country Craft magazines, looks like this. I am doing all 3 cats, but this one is this. Cats, Baskets, and Quilts. This took me forever, and finally I just quit trying to figure things out. I fudged it and all of that glorious stuff, that we do. And anyway, so I've moved on from that cat's face. But this time I just kind of, again, I picked a color and filled it in. You can see there's thread on the needle. That's what you're seeing right there. Just filling in where I can with that color and then moving on. So it's coming together. Once I got past this, the rest of it's been so much easier and so much less frustrating. I ripped that cat's face out enough times that I'm surprised my fabric held up. Been trying to think about next year and how things work. I really enjoyed touching all of my projects this year. The one thing that I want to touch everything next year, which will be more than it was this year. I will have some new starts. I'll figure out how to make that work because I enjoy starting the new things too. So I'm not going to say no new starts. I think one of the things that I struggle with a little bit on how to do it is because, like, if they didn't show up in just when I spin my little wheels and fill in my calendar, I was putting them in on Saturday and Sunday. And so, like, Sunday is when I work on the Solitude piece. And it means I spent less time working on that. So I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate them so that I still get to touch everything, but I really like to only have the Solitude piece on Sunday to work on to get more work into it. That one and the Friendship Quilts on the Porch, the Paula Vaughn. Those are my 2 oldest projects, and they go back to 2016. So I really would like to put a big push. I'm not saying they're going to get finished next year, but I really would like to get a big push for more effort going on. Anyway, we'll see how all that goes. You know how I am with plans. From Glendon Place, Thanksgiving. And this is where I am. It should be an N when it gets all the way down. There's no R in Thanksgiving, but it looks like an R. Anyway, so there we are. For this one, I am actually using the called for fancy floss for the Thanksgiving, for the thanks word. I'll use the DMC probably for the rest, but I thought it makes a big difference up there in the thanks part. You know, black for the turkey's hat, brown for his body. Those aren't, for me, that doesn't seem, it's not that big a deal. But I thought the thanks part should be, so I did buy the fancy floss for that part. It's been so long, I'm trying to think of what else has gone on. See, Addison changed jobs. She's gone back to where she was working before, or when Ryan was born. She had started working from home for the state health department on taking calls on a domestic violence hotline. And I don't think the job was so bad. Addison's a very social person. I could stay home for days on end and never leave, and it would not bother me at all. Dax could not. Dax does not know how to just chill. It's something he's trying to learn now. But Addison can't either. So I think for her, that was a real struggle working from home. Even though she got to be there with him, she didn't really feel like she was being with him. And she really did not like being at home. So she's gone back to where she was. She's working in the office now. They had reached out to her and asked her to come back, and that they would put her in a management position. So she's doing that. I'm trying to think of any other big changes. That's part of the problem too when it's been so long. What did you do? I don't know. Okay, out of this book, you're welcome. I'm doing this one. The flag. I'm not doing it like I'm supposed to, because some of this is supposed to be half stitches, but I was well into it when I realized that I started with the half stitches, and then somewhere along the way I just started doing full stitches, and I was way too far in with the full ones when I realized it, so I just went back and made the ones that I had done correctly that were half stitches. I made them full stitches and moved forward. But anyway, we have the E. You can see the outline for the M. So we have a long way to go. It's not on my list of 20 yet, though, so it's all good. It's all good. There are some that, like this one, the Cafe du Monde. It's one that I bought because from when Dax and I went to New Orleans before. When we travel, if possible, I like to find a little cross-stitch piece like this. I actually bought it in a, I think they were just, yeah, I think they were more needlepoint. I'm trying to remember. It's called the quarter stitch. It's down in the French Quarter. I'm trying to remember because I feel like they had needlepoint canvases and stuff. But I also feel like they had some knitting, well, yarn, that they had some nice yarn. whatever, doesn't matter. I struggle with working on something and going, okay, I could probably reasonably get that done, but then I leave myself with only all these big projects if I get all the little ones done. I know it's a ridiculous problem to have. Anyway, here we are. So it'll have the stitching for what things are, and then the coffee and beignet in the middle. And obviously the back stitching along the side. This is some fabric that I think I dyed. I think it started off as like the mint green Ada, and I added purple, and I thought purple and green, that's pretty perfect for New Orleans and Mardi Gras and all of that. And I'm sure I don't say New Orleans right because I'm from Texas. If I was from Louisiana, maybe it'd be different. And even that's only a maybe. From Cross Stitcher Magazine, September 2016. Just my cup of tea. I call it tea time because we're allowed to rename things we work on, right? Who cares what the artist thought? Trying to see which way this goes. Mostly I filled in some of this bottom one. Once I get, there's just, I think it's some green that goes in there for the leaves and stuff on the flowers. I'll go ahead and backstitch that one before I move on to another one. And the terrible thing about it is there is absolutely zero reason to not have that finished. There is nothing difficult about it. It's not heavy stitching, but here we are. I do believe that one is on my list of 20 this year. I think this year it made it down on my list. This one is one that gets back to, do I just go ahead and finish it because I want to, or do I wait and just work on it as it comes up? It's always the question. Out of Just Cross Stitch Magazine, April 2018. It's this rabbit here. I call it Spring Hair. I don't know if that's the name of it or not, because, you know. So, there we go. I am down to just the back stitch. So I think this time when I worked on it that I did this back stitch, the tail and in here, I believe. I could just be making that up. I don't know. It's been a while. But, oh my goodness. Just like this flower, look at that. Everything I back stitch, I'm just like, oh, it just gets better and better. So I'm down to only the back stitch, and I know, because our tendency is to be like, it's not that much. There's probably 3-4 hours of back stitch left on that, but I just keep telling myself you've got to get the kids' ornaments done before you pick up anything else in the morning for your 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever. I know it's a terrible picture. Mirabilia Santa's Magic, I believe is correct. And this is another one that I start working on it and I don't want to quit. And it's gotten, this time, I know that since the last time, I fill in, you know, stuff like I filled in Krynic and stuff up in here, I think. But I know that I filled in like all of this since y'all have seen it last. And I've come down here and started doing that. But I don't think y'all can tell. Because like in the red, there's Krynic. I don't think you can tell that it's shiny or anything. And like down in here, some of the gold, yeah, you can see some of the shiny in it now. But I'm loving it. It's also on my list of 20. Also, will not be done this year. I guess I could just say my list of 20 oldest projects and be done with it. Just leave it at that. I won a bingo at the retreat, and one of the ladies, and I didn't catch her name, gave us, I didn't clean this off. Terrible me. Terrible me. These little thread beds, very cute. They have a long pin stuck in there because I use it to separate stitches sometimes and everything. But she gave us these, and Kirsten, they were all different sunflower fabrics, and Kirsten picked one that was like this. And when I won the bingo, you got to go up and just pick a prize that was on the table, and there were a couple of project bags made out of this. This is a project bag I made, but it was one that had, it was this fabric with the vinyl front and everything. And since Kirsten had the thread bed, I grabbed that one of those project bags and gave to her. I'm so good. Paula Vaughn Friendship Bouquet. I should just do a whole, here's all the Paula Vaughns I have. Anyway, here's where we are. I think this time I worked some on this part of the quilt, and obviously up on the screen door. Over here, what do you call this? Door jamb? The door jamb? Whatever. I worked on that. And I could just sit and work on Paula Vaughn stuff all day. Okay, to be fair, most of them I could just sit and work on all day. I know, there's still more. There is still more. This one is Jan Lim, I believe. Yes, it's called Ruffled Feathers. I call it Rooster Pin because Shelley at It's Only Stitching, it is rare that Shelley does not change a color of floss. It's rare for her to stitch a pattern as called for, period, ever. And apparently it is rare for me to call a pattern by its actual name. Anyway, also on my list of 20, and this is where I am, as you can see, I started kind of trying to get some chickens in here besides just all the black background. But I'm about to get into confetti. Lots and lots of confetti. As you can see, those chickens are, this one has a lot, but this one especially. And like all of the chicken wire, look, gets stitched on after you, once you finish all of it. That's a pearl cotton that you stitch on afterwards over top of it all. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's the more it comes along. for that one, there was a little bit of time there where I don't know what my problem was, but I had trouble wrapping my head around the pattern. And once I finally was able to, and like I said, I don't know why. There isn't anything difficult about it. But once my head snapped with it, I don't know why I had a mental block, but once I got over it, it's been fine. I wish it hadn't taken so long. I could have had more done. This is a little tiny Busilla kit. Busilla, I don't know how you pronounce it. And I really don't have a ton done on it. They're right there. Little cat wearing his party hat. I think I have like 2 of the 50 Shades of Grey that are in there. Did you see what I did there? I haven't read the book or watched the movie. Quite frankly, I started the book, I did, and I got bored and never finished it. I think I'm not very forgiving when it comes to reading. You've got like 10 pages to get me engaged, and if you can't do that, then all bets are off. Out of For the Love of Cross Stitch, it says display until March 24th. I'm looking to see what year. It just says display until March 24, and I know that's not the year because this isn't new. Anyway, it looks like this. But I am working on this adorable little duck. I thought that would be just so cute for like either a summer decoration, because I never take my Christmas tree down, so it could be my summer tree, or just a pillow and a dough bowl during summer, just whatever. But here's where I am. There's a little bit of the duck in there, but you can't really see it. This is a piece of this, but he will fit right there on that little edge, and that's perfect. I can use the other stuff for different things, and what goes better with a duck with a floaty than a pig in red rain boots. So I didn't get much done on that one because I had to spend some time digging for floss. Sometimes it happens that way. This one was I don't know if I've worked on both of these since the last time or not. I don't think so. I think this was a bunch of monthly birdhouses that were free patterns online. I've gone back since and tried to find them, and I can't anymore. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to them. I found them through Pinterest. I find a lot of things on Pinterest. My cross stitch Pinterest board is private. It's locked because so much stuff is scanned in and put online as if it's free, and it's not. And I save stuff like that to my Pinterest board so that I don't forget about things I want to stitch. And, you know, like if I'm going to go shopping, I'll look and see what's over there that I want to stitch, just to keep it in mind. But I don't want those being shared around. So this is stuff, but even if it says it's free, I don't just take the word from it right there. I go try to find the actual pattern, where the pattern originated from, not where it was shared from or who shared it. Anyway, it's been years ago since these were out there, and I'm almost positive that they were in a blog, but I can't find it anymore. I have looked. Anyway, so that was March's. There's one for every month. This is March's. And this one's February's, but I worked on March's. And really all I had the time to do this time was I finished filling in the bucket, the pot, put plants in a pot. So when Dax and I are on our driving trip, I've been looking at things, and I found out that in Williams, Arizona, there is an animal, like a drive-through animal park kind of thing, called Bearizona. I told Dax, I'm sorry, if I'm going to be that close, I have to go to a place called Bearizona. That's too witty. I can't help it. So, I'm hoping to go to Bearizona, y'all. Don't be jelly. Don't be jelly. I worked on Ukrainian ornament. This was also a freebie. There you can see maybe the cross stitch patterns. As I say, cross dash stitch dash patterns.eu. This is a full coverage piece. There is no way I would stitch that background. Absolutely not. I am stitching this 1/1 on like a 22 count. This is another one that I have started like 100 times. Sorry, I've got thread back here too. I don't know, 3 or 4 times I started this before I made it this far. So you can see I'm not even halfway through. This is on my list of 20. So it's one of my 20 oldest projects. Anyway, this time I worked on bringing these leaves down, and then part of this flower was on another page. So I'm just trying to get that flower complete before I keep moving on. Just kind of trying to work down. Yeah, still won't be finished this year. Not going to happen. To look and see what time it is. Ooh. Okay, we got to leave pretty soon. Okay. Yeah, we got to leave pretty soon. So, I am going to stop here. I have more stuff still to show y'all, but I don't have time right now. So I will save that till the next time. I won't just put it away and not show you. I will save those things until the next time. Sandy, please get in touch with me. Give me a hot minute to pull everything together, because it's not going to just be the bee patterned. I will be sending you a bee themed selection. Whatever I decide to throw in there will be bee themed things. Next time I will try to remember to bring in the patterns that I have, so that I can show you what I've bought. I'll try to get my numbers back together, my stats for finishes and all of that kind of stuff. I'll try to get the finishes that are in their drying put together, and see if we can't get everything caught up. Fingers crossed, I will try to do that next weekend. I know one day we will be gone, so maybe next Sunday I can do it, maybe Sunday morning or something like that. Okay. I'm sorry to cut this off like this, but like I said, we gotta go. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Thank you to those of y'all who entered the drawing. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sticking around, putting up with me. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all more than you know. And I'm going to do my best to be back again next weekend. All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.